Hi, my name is Diya from Mumbai. Since college, I've had a big secret. I have lived with this secret for a long time, and I just recently exposed it. Stay tuned to know about my juicy secret. I grew up in Ranwar, a village in Mumbai, to a single mother, Mrs. Ramesh. My father, Mr. Ramesh, passed away when I was only 4 years old. Growing up with one parent was definitely difficult, but I always enjoyed my mom's company. You know what they say about Asian parents? The biggest stereotype about Asian parents is that they always want you to become a doctor or a lawyer. My mom wasn't any different, so I spent most of the time locked in, studying. I was an introverted young girl. I would, however, look out the window to see cheerful kids playing, and I was fascinated by them. Therefore, I had a secret loathing to break free from my confines. I would look at them in the streets enjoying street food, and I would ask my mom to always get me biryani after work. Biryani was my favorite food. And before you start posting hate comments about Indian street food, go try it out yourself. Don't believe everything you see on Instagram. Spending most of my time inside, I had a big addiction. My addiction was so intense that I would spend hours on end feeding it. Can you guess my addiction? I was addicted to novels. I won't lie though, I was also addicted to watching exploring relationship dilemmas YouTube videos. That was my second addiction. I was subscribed and watched all their videos. I highly recommend that you subscribe as well. Anyway, concerning my novel addiction, I loved novels. My favorite novel was called I Too Had a Love Story by Ravinder Singh. I was intrigued by love and couldn't wait for me to become old enough so that I could experience love for myself. By the way, if you love novels too, let me know in the comments about your favorite novel. In school, I always achieved the highest grades. I also studied hard so that I could get a scholarship to study abroad. I always thought that if I went to study abroad, I could break free from my mom's confine. Sorry, Mom. When I was 18, I applied to the University of Cambridge and got accepted on a full scholarship. My mother was so happy that she threw a big send-off party before I traveled to the UK. I was going to study law and couldn't wait to visit a different country. When I arrived to the UK, it was very different. I was hit by a major culture shock. First of all, the breakfast was shit. Like, come on, how can beans, eggs, and a sausage be on the same plate? However, the architecture was very fine. Can't say the same about the weather though. I feel like this is just a roast on the UK, so I'll just stop. Cause trust me, I could go on for the whole day. Finding friends was difficult for me because I was shy. However, my roommate Priya was my complete opposite. She made friends so effortlessly. Since I always walked with her, I would interact with her friend group, and they became my friends too. She also had a boyfriend. His name was Navinder, or Nav in short. Nav was a nice guy, and he was a member of the cricket team. Our friend group was fun, and we spent a lot of time together. Priya and I majored in law, and so did a majority of our friend group, but Nav majored in business. We maintained our good relations all the way to our final year. At the beginning of the final year, we all attended a party. What happened during the party was so unexpected, it had me keeping a big secret for most of my life. During the party, I took one too many shots and got drunk. I was going to use the bathroom and I entered the wrong bathroom. In short, I entered the men's bathroom and I met Nav there. He was drunk as well. He came to me and began touching me. Since he was drunk, he probably thought that I was his girlfriend Priya. Since I was drunk too, I didn't stop his approach and we kissed. One thing led to another and we ended up making out. In the morning when I came to, I had forgotten about it and life went on as usual. Some weeks later, I began vomiting and I decided to test for pregnancy. The results were positive, and that's when I recalled the activities that took place on the night of the party. I realized that the moment I shared with Nav was what led to the pregnancy. I was confused and decided to keep it to myself. Even my mother didn't know about this. She could have criticized me for it. By then, I was staying in my own apartment. This came as a blow to me because it was so unexpected. I decided to get a part-time job at a restaurant as a waiter so that I could start saving some money. Shortly after, Nav and Priya announced that they were having a child. This only proved to further worsen my situation cause now I couldn't tell anyone about it. If I did, I would be seen as a jealous friend who wanted to ruin Priya's relationship. I had to keep it to myself. As time went on, Priya began to notice about my pregnancy. When she asked me about it, I told her that it was a one-night stand with a guy I met at a club, but I never told her that Nav was the father of my child. I conceived successfully, and I named my son Ramesh to commemorate my late father. I graduated a few months later. After graduating, me and my friends moved back to India. I moved back to Mumbai while Priya and Nav were planning to get married and move to Delhi. I arrived in India with my son, and my mother was disappointed. She, however, supported and encouraged me. I moved into my mom's house and began looking for employment in several law firms. Shortly after, I was hired in a reputable law firm in Mumbai. I was making good money that enabled me to support my mom and my son. I was still in touch with Priya, and she would tell me how Nav started a successful business that enabled her to quit her job. On her Instagram story, she would post of her designer shopping, lavish vacations, and expensive restaurants. I was happy for them, but much happier for myself because of how my life was going. At work, I met a handsome gentleman called Ravi. He was very charming and hospitable. After work in the evenings, we would go out to spend time together. We would share our life stories, and he was the funniest person ever. I told him about my son and how he came to. He comforted me and really wanted to meet my son. During one of the evenings, Ravi asked me to become his girlfriend, and we started dating officially. Since he wanted to meet my son, I decided to take him home one day.
वह बहुत सुंदर है. तुम शादी कब कर रही हो?
Mom, come on, stop embarrassing me. I said, my words filled with laughter. My mom really liked him not only because of his good looks and charisma, but also because he had a successful law career. We enjoyed dinner and Ravi got to meet my son. He looked at him and they smiled at each other. He was already looking like a father to Ramesh. A few months later, Ravi proposed to me. It was the best day of my life. I let out tears of joy and accepted his proposal. We planned our wedding and my mother gave her full approval. Our wedding was held in Mumbai, and it was one of the biggest weddings ever held in our village. We splashed a cool $80,000 for the wedding. After the wedding, Ravi, Ramesh, and I moved to a new apartment. We lived a happy life, and Ravi was becoming a father figure to my son already. I couldn't believe that I finally found love. It was reminiscent to my childhood days when I would read love novels and I felt that my life was becoming a novel itself. One day, I opened my WhatsApp and saw a link to a WhatsApp group from Priya. When I clicked the link, it was a group for a class reunion. Our entire class planned a reunion so that we could meet up to check up on each other. The reunion was planned by Priya and she would be hosting the reunion in Delhi. She offered to fly in the classmates who lived abroad. I was excited about the reunion and asked Ravi to go with me. We planned to leave my son with his grandmother for the time we would be away. A week later, we took some time off from work together and took the flight to Delhi. We stayed at a hotel before arriving at the reunion venue the next day. Priya and Nav were living in a big mansion. Nav's business had really taken off, and he was making millions from it. They also had 3 kids, 2 daughters and 1 son. During the reunion party, Nav approached me and told me that life was not going so well for him. When I inquired about his source of sadness, he said something that completely shocked me.
All 3 kids that I have with Priya are not mine.
he said. Priya seemed to have had affairs with other men and had children by them.
I found out after an argument. She blurted it out and I was heartbroken.
He added. He also added that after a DNA test, his results came out negative for all 3 kids. He confessed that he was even contemplating suicide because of how depressed he had become. At that moment, I had so much pity on his poor soul, and I thought that it was about time he learned the truth about my son Ramesh. Remember the night we all went for a party in our final year? Well, I think that we might have shared an intimate night, I said.
What? Are you sure about this?
He asked. I explained everything to him, and when he looked at a picture of my son, his eyes lit up. Nav was an exact copy of my son, and he began to vividly recall the events that unfolded that night. He remembered everything and said that he wanted a DNA test. Nav really wanted to meet my son. He traveled to Mumbai with us, and he went to stay at a hotel. He came with us to my mother's home and met both my mom and Ramesh. He was so happy to meet Ramesh. We planned the DNA test and Ravi was cool with it. The test came out positive. Nav was my son's father. However, it didn't matter. Ravi and I had started life together and we were happy. My son had also become acquainted with Ravi and Ravi had already established himself as a father to my son. Nav understood this and was just happy to see the child. It gave him rejuvenated strength and eventually helped him overcome depression. He would occasionally call to check up on Ramesh and would send him gifts. He also decided to fix things with Priya and take care of their 3 kids as if they were biologically his. His life greatly improved after that. You would think that the story is over, but no, something completely crazy happened. Do you want to know what's crazy? You still haven't liked the video. Come on, you've made it this far. So give the video a thumbs up. I mean, my story is pretty much over. No more drama for me. Ravi and I are living a smooth life. Just be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like these relationship stories and turn on the notification bell to get updated whenever there's a new upload. You could check out the playlist too, or watch this video right here. It's about a lady who is tricked by her husband to have affairs with her boss, and it's definitely a juicy story. So click the video right now. Anyway, thanks for watching.